Warning, the show may contain some crude humor and mild swearing. Listener discretion is advised. This show is produced by Geek Happy Network, constantly curious about the things we love. If you enjoyed listening to Smorgasbord, remember to subscribe to the show on Spotify, YouTube, or on your favorite podcast app. Remember to leave a review. We would love to hear your thoughts. This is Smorgasbord!
Welcome to Smorgasbord, a show where we explore the rituals, myths, and all things strange about the world of food. I'm Mick, and here is my co-host,
Angel. Yay.
And today we welcome back Mr. Nick. Welcome back, Nick.
Thank you so much. I am back in black.
He
is wearing black.
He is
I'm wearing gray. Oh, there's an ape actually.
There's an ape on your shirt. It's very topical.
He's rollerblading.
Well, he's better at rollerblading than I ever was.
Today we're going to look into the strangest egg we've ever seen, the tonzidan, or translated from Chinese, boy eggs, also known as virgin boy eggs.
This is a topic that only Mick knows anything about.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to say what I was going to say.
What? You can't just
now
start
just
like
intrigued.
that.
I'm
Can't
so
just
good
go, I'm not gonna
with
say.
boy eggs. I know everything.
I see. Okay. Disturbing.
Well, we're going to unearth what we could find about this dish, why this is a thing, and how you could make it in your own home if you want to.
Do we need to kidnap children for this?
You need to
Maybe.
use children, yes.
Oh, okay.
Well, first of all, we're going to find out where exactly we could find virgin boy eggs. Tonzidan is found exclusively in the city of Dongyang, which is in the east coast of China in the Zhejiang province.
Mhm.
The name itself, Donyang, means the eastern sun, likely because of its geographical location in, well, the east coast.
Does China have an east coast? I feel like, isn't it just attached to Eastern Europe?
It's literally just the only coast.
Yeah.
If you, I don't have a west coast.
I think
Oh,
no, it
that
doesn't have a west coast, but it does reach all the way to
I have
the
east
other side.
and west mixed up in my head. Yeah, the way to
East-
remember it is north. Never eat sour weenies. So north, south.
I remember
west.
as never eat slimy worms.
Oh.
I mean, I wouldn't eat either slimy worms or sour weenies.
But speaking of sour weenies, but yeah, before we really fully dive deep into what these virgin boy eggs are, it's I think helpful to understand what kind of cuisine the Zhejiang province has. As we talked about during Megan Paul's soup in an earlier episode, Chinese cuisine is so vast and broken into so many different styles, but there are specific major styles when it comes to Chinese cuisine. One of it is the Zhejiang cuisine. Province itself is dependent on the freshness of fish and seafood as it is a coastal region and the different cooking styles. Of the different cooking styles in China, Zhejiang is known as the more elegant or fancy cuisine, and it's likely because of it is the most prosperous province of China. An important element of the Zhejiang cuisine. Yeah, it is apparently where most of the money comes from.
Like currently or historically?
Both, from what I
Oh.
understand.
Oh.
Yeah. I think the king or whatever used to be close to this province, so a lot of the food revolved around here. So you'll see that when it comes to the cuisine itself, it's focused on the freshness and quality of the food. Another element of the cuisine also is aesthetics. So a lot of the cuisine you could see is heavily dependent on prettiness. Yeah.
It's pretty
having
Instagrammable virgin boy eggs.
Exactly.
I feel like you get flagged for that account if
If
your
you have the Virgin
Instagram
Boy egg
account. Yeah.
Virgin boy eggs. Yeah. Yeah. Probably.
Or if you had your own hashtag like yummy boy eggs.
There's actually way too much kind of porn on Instagram if you search for it.
Like
It's there.
boy egg porn.
Yeah, this probably won't even hit the top 10 of creepiest
It wouldn't though.
porn.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Zhejiang cuisine, though, there also are 4 minor cooking styles there. We'll look into this very briefly, and then we'll get into the virgin boy eggs. The first one is the Hangzhou cuisine, which is known as the most refined of the 4 because of its sophisticated shapeage of food. This is where you could find a lot of the aesthetics really come into play. You'll find ingredients are mostly fried or braised or stewed here. One example of a dish here is dongpo pork, which is braised pork. mixed with Shaoxing wine for hours, which makes it super tender
that
and
one's
super
good.
rich.
I've had that one.
Really?
That
It sounds
pretty
amazing.
tasty.
It's
Yeah.
great.
Braising
Vancouver.
pork in wine for hours. Oh.
Yeah. It just like falls apart in your mouth. You don't even need to like make the effort to choose itself.
Those are my favorite
It's like-
type of foods, the ones where you make no effort.
Exactly.
Just put it into my mouth. Can you have it here in Vancouver? Or did you have it?
I don't know. Mine was the one I had was homemade. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, dang.
It was
What
like
is the
my
name of the
grandma made it.
cuisine again?
Hangzhou. Hangzhou.
Hangzhou.
Hangzhou.
Cuisine.
Yeah. The next style of cooking is Ningbo, which is different from Hangzhou, as here the dishes are more focused on retaining the original flavor or texture of the animal. So unlike mixing it with wine, this one will just use the animal's flavor itself, so not requiring a lot of seasoning. Dishes here are usually steamed, roasted, stewed, or stir-fried. As there are a number of different water bodies in Ningbo, their cuisine tends to be heavy on seafood and typically has this kind of salty, sea-like flavor profile because they don't do a lot of seasoning. One dish here is the Sukai Dahangyu, or the Great Croaker with pickled cabbage.
The great croaker, is that a frog?
It's a fish, actually.
Oh, okay.
It's one of the fish I've had to scale. Anyway,
I don't know how
a
I feel about pickled fish. Like
pickled
Yeah.
cabbage.
the only pickled thing I like is pickled.
Yeah, so this one it's a fried big yellow croaker, which is a fish, not a frog,
Okay.
Not a
and mixed
frog.
with some pickled mustard and seasoning.
Like
Brining is also a big part of the
Ooh.
Ningbo cuisine. So you'll find the Ningbo salty crab is just soaking crab in brine for a whole day and having that.
Okay, isn't
third-
Salty
crab
crabs.
like already soaked in brine, as in ocean water?
Yeah. I guess it's
But
a
it's not, it
different
doesn't
flavored brine.
marinate in it. I don't think it
Okay.
gets
Yeah.
into his skin, right?
You like de-shell it
Yeah.
and then further soak it in its natural environment.
Yeah. Maximum saltiness.
Yeah. I have a question in terms of crabs and crustaceans.
hmm
Who's the one person that decided, this is an animal we won't kill before we put them in the pot?
I think a lot of it has to do probably from trial and error, because a lot of crustaceans, like for example shrimp, if you don't cook
Mhm.
them right away, certain shrimp, they have enzymes that actually deteriorate its body really quick upon death.
Oh.
So something like that probably made them realize we should probably just cook it right away. Because if you do
Right.
keep a dead crab, when they die, they kind of rot pretty quickly.
So it's about the
So
freshness.
Yeah, so I would assume it's through experience.
Yeah, I just always wondered that because I'm like, well, this one we won't kill. It's like, imagine just grabbing the
Yeah.
cow and just being like, you're going on the fire pit right now.
Immediately.
Immediately.
This is starting
I
to
don't
sound
know.
like Lord of the Flies.
I know.
Hi there, my name is Kanyeki Kamawe, and I'm the host of the Represented podcast. No matter who you are and no matter where you come from, we each have a story to tell. The Represented podcast explores individuals' life stories with the hope that we can identify with or learn from them. Subscribe and listen to the show on YouTube, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, or even Spotify. You can also check us out on the Geek Happy Network website. That's geekhappynetwork.com. Finally, follow the show on Instagram at Represented Podcast to keep up with the fun stuff. Love to see you there. Peace.
The third style of cooking is Shaoxing, which we heard from the Shaoxing wine from earlier. But this one it's a more geographically inland cuisine than the other cuisines. So a lot of the food here revolves around poultry and freshwater fish from the rivers. Here the food is more rich tasting with strong aromas. So you could kind of break it into three different types of courses in Shaoxing, which is mei, which is preserved foods, zui, which is food with wine, and jiang, which is pickled food with bean sauce. So a lot of the food here revolves around one of these three. For example, Zhejiang is wine chicken. It's just boiled chicken cooked on rice wine. Lots of flavors again.
I feel like I could do that. I could just get
Yeah.
some wine and some chicken and boil the shit.
Yeah.
out of that.
Do you get drunk when you cook? No, right? When you cook alcohol, the alcohol disappears
Yeah.
because you burn it
Yeah,
off.
pretty
Oh,
much.
okay.
Yeah. I don't think I've
So you
ever
can't-
had a dish where like Ooh, I am so drunk out of this pasta. I think with red wine on meat, it's probably going to be less of an issue because red wine
Yeah.
is more of a juice.
Grape
and I'm sure
juice.
some wine aficionados is going to hate me for saying that, but
That's, so the last style of cuisine here is the Wengzu, which is the smallest of the four. Depending on who you talk to, actually, they might not even be considered a major. They might not even be considered a major style of cooking in Zhejiang. The Wengzu style features heavily on seafood, taking advantage of its coastal location as well. Many of the food here is fresh tasting and soups, and also using delicate knife work. One dish here is the mangrove crab in 2 flavors. This features both steamed and stir-fried crab, giving you this kind of complex flavor of crab.
There's
There's a lot of crab in this dish.
There is a lot of crab. 6 different kinds of crab. You know, my favorite kind of crab is imitation.
It's
Have a
not
very
even real crab.
refined palate.
It's the time for the show where we actually finally discover what exactly virgin boy eggs are. As we learned with the Zhejiang cuisine, there are a lot of elements of some things really fancy. So when it comes to what tonzidan or virgin boy eggs are, it is not even close to being anything fancy.
Are we talking about orphan boys then?
No.
Dirty
not.
urchin
Actually, yeah,
boys.
let's have one of you, each of you guess what do you think virgin boy eggs are.
I think a chicken puts an egg, and then it's given to a virgin boy to hatch, and then you eat the chicken that comes out of the egg that was hatched by a virgin.
Wow.
It's a good
Pretty
guess.
good. I don't even know how to top that one. I was gonna say something like a tooth fairy, like if you from a boy who loses a tooth, he gets an egg in exchange under his pillow, and then like he'll sleep on it for a day, and then they all eat it as a family in the morning.
How do you stop him from crushing the egg while he's sleeping?
You have a very fluffy pillow, a very very fluffy pillow.
I would like you to try that. I would like you to put an egg under your pillow and go to bed and tell me how it goes for you.
Maybe it's been pre-treated.
But it
by
has to be
being
like a
pickled.
down pillow or something.
It would have to be
Yeah,
fairly
maybe it's a
fluffy.
pickled egg. I don't know.
I have a
Mm,
feeling
true.
like it's a pickled egg. This must be like one of these 100,000-year-old eggs that looks extremely disturbing.
Okay, if you're
Unfortunately,
that'd be the 100-year-old virgin.
no. Un- Unfortunately for both of you guys, it's neither of those.
Oh.
So the city of Dongyang is actually located in the middle of Hangzhou, Ningbo, and Wenzhou. But sometimes the mixture of these best cuisines don't mean necessarily you'll get a better product. Known as the dish that brings on the taste of spring, tonzidang or virgin boy eggs is eggs brined in fresh urine of little boys. Hence the name boy eggs.
Oh man, that's a lot worse than both of our guesses.
Yep.
Yep.
If we were to put both of your guesses in this guess in a multiple choice, I don't think people will think it would be this one.
Or maybe they will because it's the most nasty one.
It is exactly some kind of
Pickling
pickled
process.
egg, but you just use urine.
Brining would technically be the proper term for it.
I guess because it's just floating.
It's similar to the pickling process where you kind of dunk something into something to get a different flavor.
I mean, they always talk about you being able to drink your piss, which still sounds disgusting.
But it tastes better, I guess, with eggs.
It
Actually,
tastes
not
better on it.
Get the sulfuric flavor of eggs and the sulfuric flavor of piss and combine them both. Now, as we probably want to figure out is why exactly someone would do this. There must be some kind of reasonable or cool history why this all started. Sadly, this tale probably got lost in history, as if you ask locals about the origin of the dish, you won't really find any reason aside from it being a long-standing tradition.
Well, that's just disturbing. I mean, Christianity is also a tradition, so...
Is there an age limit? Is it like once you hit puberty, you can no longer brine these eggs with your pee?
Yeah. The way it works is they actually collect the piss from schoolboys. So I guess if you're not in that school anymore, then you don't count.
So there's just a point in life when you're like, do you need my piss? And then they just go like, no, we're good.
Oh man,
Yeah, it's weird. Like I don't.
Is it like every Tuesday, like Tuesday period 3, everybody pee in a bucket?
It's an everyday kind of thing.
Oh no.
Yeah, but it's really weird. Like I can't even find why this is a thing. Like I don't even know why it's only served during spring.
And then you reminisce about the time that you guys were pissing in a jar.
Yep.
Oh, here's my next question: who's eating these? Are they eating their own pee?
Well, it's actually a pretty popular dish. So like we mentioned, it's a springtime dish, which I really don't know why it's just a springtime dish.
Easter, yo.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, my assumption is it's like, you know how Chinese cuisine is generally based on seasonal rotations of food, unlike here in the West. So I'm assuming this just rotates in and out of season, just like everything else. Might be
okay.
just we don't have food kind of thing too. That probably might be a reason. But when it comes to people who eat it, actually a lot of people do eat it. It's kind of like, it's not like everybody eats it, but it's kind of one of those things that became a dish because someone thought it was healthy. So
Somewhat.
the likely reason I assume it became a thing is because it became a preservation technique. Back in the day, it was also believed that ingesting urine had some health benefits, at least among the general population or the lower income families. So because eggs were such a popular source of nutrition, because most people back then were peasants and farmers, they probably put 2 and 2 together and made this dish: eggs, urine, preservation, health, virgin boy eggs. Now where the boys came into play, I have no idea. Some kid was just like, ooh, this is fun, and then it became a thing.
This is making me think of Jeff Bezos injecting himself with young blood to keep alive. This sounds like in the same territory of draining the blood from the virgins in order to stay young.
Yeah.
This is some vampire stuff, but urine.
Hey, it could be. I mean, there are a lot of like weird remedial stuff like this, right? I mean, I know Angel and I covered earlier that we had like tea eggs, which is of a similar type where you cook tea on the egg, or you use tea to cook the eggs. And there's also those century eggs, which you also mentioned, which is
I
like
don't know what
100-year-old
century eggs are pickled in or brined in that they turn black.
And all of these are
It might
like,
just be urine. Maybe it was
Could be.
the ultimate creation.
So century eggs are like senior citizen pee. you go to a nursing home.
yeah, instead of a school, you go to a nursing home.
Worst time in history
What-
to be collecting someone's pee from a nursing home.
Yep.
Oh yeah, Corona eggs.
What's really interesting about the dish, though, is as of 2008, it became a cultural heritage dish of Dongyang. And like you were asking, Angel, it is so popular that they're actually sold almost 2 to 4 times the price of a hard-boiled egg during spring.
Do they paint them?
It's painted in boys' pee, so
Do they have any look? Like, what's the actual look of the...
it's just a darker hard-boiled
Depends
egg.
on how dehydrated
So
the
it's-
boys are.
Yeah, so the egg's a little bit yellow. Sometimes the yolk actually turns green from the sulfur
Oh,
during the
yikes.
brining process. So I'm sure all of you guys are so excited by it by now that you want to make it at home.
I really do.
To make tonzidan, it's actually rather simple, but it just takes a lot of time. First,
You have to get pregnant.
Yeah.
It has to be
First-
a boy.
you need a bunch of boys. Enough that you could collect enough urine to boil a pot of urine. You hard boil your eggs in that pot, crack open the eggs, and then drop them back into the pot. Occasionally refilling the pot with, you guessed it, more urine for
They
a few
touched
hours.
pee.
Yeah, so that way you really allow the egg to absorb the urine. You may also add your choice of herbs and spices if you want to complement the flavor. The result will, like
what
we mentioned,
herbs and
give you-
spices go with pee?
I don't know, lavender. I don't know,
Sage.
sage. Now, when it comes to actually making the egg, the hardest part about it is sourcing the ingredients.
Oh yeah, it's really hard to find eggs.
So this is the eggs. The eggs are really hard. You gotta find this thing called a chicken.
a chicken.
A chicken?
Yeah, something like that. And you gotta let it poop out this round thing.
They have a whole separate hole for that egg.
Yeah, they have that thing. Now the second hardest ingredient to source is the urine itself.
Kind of weird to go out in the street and be like, boy,
Yeah.
give me your pee.
But see, it's not even like that. That's what really. Like, this is where I was like, I'm done. This dish has lost me, because it's actually a whole citywide effort. You're not forcing these boys to
Oh man,
pee.
they're hydrating these boys like crazy.
Yeah, like
They're
during
like, drink
spring.
this Gatorade. You're gonna need to have
Yeah.
all these electrolytes because then you're gonna be pickling these eggs.
So there's a point in the year where the whole city just goes, we need everyone's pee.
Goes fucking ham on this. Like during spring, the vendors are even allowed to put buckets in schools or wherever boys are under the age of 10. There's your requirement.
10 years old.
And they're allowed to pee in these buckets outside of their classrooms rather than use the washroom. In fact, teachers suggest this, announce this, and there's even some safety education going on here as teachers would remind their students not to pee in the buckets if they're feeling sick.
Might get the coronas.
So yeah. But yeah, you could also find buckets everywhere. Like the vendors might even have the buckets available beside their stalls. Some houses might even collect their own children's pee just to cook it themselves at home. It's a whole citywide thing. It's not that hard as collecting eggs for sure.
You said this was like a springtime dish, right?
It is a springtime dish.
So they're having it right now, basically. Right now in China.
Now is the season.
Now is the season to collect the pea and the eggs.
Yeah, 'tis the season. We might as well fly there now.
I feel
and
like there has to be some restrictions right now.
they're pretty trained in a sense that if they feel sick, they know not to pee in it. So maybe it is not as popular now, or maybe they have quarantine boys for it.
Quarantine boys.
Quarantine boy eggs.
Who knows?
Oh my god. I don't agree with this dish.
Most of the population of China is in the same boat as you, where
No.
it really is just specialized in Dongyang where it happens. So a lot of people around China are like, that's not really a dish we do. This is definitely one of those
It's
instances
just these
of,
people right here.
Yeah, it's like a localized tradition that became a thing. I guess it happens in a lot of different places. This one just so happened to have pea in it.
Just found a Reddit photo of kids peeing in buckets, and right next to it is one of the eggs. It's yellow, it's like brown in the outside and just like green in the yolk.
Yep, that's exactly what it is. Now, when it comes to the show, we asked two very big questions. Is it healthy or is it good?
I'm gonna say no on both. Immediately.
Pretty right, yeah. When it comes to the main selling point of the dish, it's believed that tanjidan is good for your health by preventing different conditions. It's believed to reduce your body heat during the summer to prevent heat stroke, or the spring to prevent heat stroke. It's also believed to improve your blood circulation or make you feel livelier. I'm sure this has something to do with also increasing your sexual libido or whatever. It's believed to also even be paleo for anyone on a paleo diet.
This all sounds very placebo-y.
Yeah.
Okay, well that's true, but you can just eat eggs without the pea.
Is it very keto though?
Yeah.
Is boy pea a carb?
When it comes to any scientific proof or evidence to any of these health claims, there aren't really any. So yeah, it's probably just a placebo kind of thing. There's also that massive sanitation issue about this dish, so.
Yeah.
No shit. What stops a kid from just like not just peeing in the thing, but you know?
They can always just put eggs in a public pool. You'll get the same result.
Maybe they don't have a public pool, I don't know. I'm sure every 10-year-old boy in China is excited. Or not in China, at least in Dongyang, are like, can't wait for spring where I could just pee everywhere.
Do they just eat it by itself? Does it accompany anything? Okay, it's not. It's just it's a dish on itself.
Yeah, it's. I guess it's kind of like a street food. You order it from vendors in the streets and just eat it. When it comes to is it good, it's kind of actually polarizing, even amongst people of Dongyang. And I'm pretty sure the reason of this is because of its smell.
Oh no!
I give you guys one guess what it smells like.
Are you alive?
Probably smells like the kind of pee you had after you had a night of binge drinking.
Pretty much. It smells
And
like
you did not
sulfuric.
hydrate with anything but vodka.
Yeah.
It smells like my alleyway, probably. That's what.
Yep, 100% smells like pee. Taste-wise, though, people do say it tastes like just saltier, hard-boiled egg. So although it's cooked for hours in a pot of piss, it does make sense that the odor is what's strong, but the flavor doesn't, because the flavors and the smells of the pee don't really penetrate the egg shell. When you do hard boil it with the egg, or after you hard boil it as an egg, it's already a fully formed hard boiled egg, so it doesn't really get through. Maybe a little bit of the sulfur does get, or maybe a little bit of the pee gets through to change the color of the yolk inside, but for the most part, apparently it just tastes like hard boiled egg.
I'll take a hard-boiled egg without the pea. Like, that's fine
Yeah.
with me.
So if all they wanted was a saltier egg, why not just brine it in salt water? Like,
You would think.
But, yeah.
You would think.
just salt the egg after it's been boiled.
Yeah, I don't know. That's one of those reasons that got lost in history.
Yeah.
I'm sure something must have happened in Dongyang that forced them to use pea to brine or preserve an egg instead of salt. And then someone believed it to be healthy, and then one thing led to another, and then
And you
this
know.
happened. It's like having children. Sometimes it's just unexpected. But that is virgin boy eggs for you.
Nice.
I guess
That's
boy eggs.
Filed under things I wish I didn't know.
Just found an article from the Vancouver Sun, local newspaper.
Ooh.
It says that in some parts of Vancouver, residents from Zhejiang that moved to Vancouver sell virgin boy eggs for 25 cents Canadian.
25
Ooh.
cents. Ooh.
That's a pretty
If
good
I
price.
were to pee on like in a bucket to make eggs, I'd be like, "Yo, I'm charging you at least like a
$5.
like a surcharge."
That must be illegal in Canada. There is no way that they can do them here and that not be like a health concern.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. In the States, maybe, because then they also had that guy who used his wife's breast milk for a dish.
Ew.
But in Canada, for sure, it's definitely illegal, I would say. We're just going to wrap this up real quick, and then we can...
Virgin boy eggs.
Well, that's your episode.
Yeah.
Bye. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
This is
Smorgasbord. Have a ritual, myth, or something strange you want us to explore? Send us a message through Facebook at Geek Happy Network or email us at team@geekhappynetwork.com. We'd love to hear from our fellow Smorgies. This show is created by Angel Lynn and Mick Narciso, hosted by Angel Lynn and Mick Narciso, edited by Mick Narciso and Bianca Goico, logo and graphics by Angel Lynn, music by Mick Narciso, and videography by Bianca Goico.